Hello friends, this is Worm, according to some old Polish manuscripts, and today I wanted to talk about a controversial topic, which is Void Overshields, particularly in the Crucible, but we'll kind of touch on some PvE stuff as well. But basically, the premise of this video is talking about Void Overshields not necessarily being overpowered, because I don't think they're overpowered, so to speak, or broken, but there needs to be more ways to counter them. Right, because they are very, very prominent in the Crucible. I use it myself. You know, I play on Hunter. I use that echo of whatever it is that gives you overshield when you kill somebody while you're at low health. Blah blah blah. But yeah, let's talk about it. Of course, the idea I got here came from Septic Empire. We were talking in the comments on yesterday or the day before his video, and you know, I let him know my thoughts on the idea that I had, and he liked it. So hey, cool, we're gonna make a video about it, talking about it. So the idea we talked about in the comments the other day was that suppressor grenades should disable Void Overshields, right? And you know, actually we'll talk about that more in just a second, but let me first start by talking about Void Overshields themselves, because there are several ways that you can get Void Overshields, right? You can get them through weapons, you can get them through fragments, but I think the main way, the main thing that gets people the overshields are, of course, Bastion Titans, Void Titans that are using Bastion, because Bastion, when you put a barricade down, it gives you a Void Overshield, right? Now, I guess Bungie's way of countering these Void Overshields is when you have Bastion equipped, you get a substantially slower barricade cooldown, right? Like it goes from, I think, 14 seconds for a rally barricade up to 30 something seconds for a rally barricade when you have Bastion equipped. So Bungie has taken methods to like counter the overshield spam, because when Witch Queen first came out and we got Void 3.0, overshields were absolutely everywhere. Oh yeah, watch this crispy kill right here. That's juicy. Anyways, overshields, they, since Witch Queen, since their nerf, they have gone down in usage, but I feel like, especially now that Strand and all the 3.0 subclasses are out and they've been around for a while, we are seeing more and more Void Titans, specifically Void Titans because they overshields, but more Void characters utilizing things that get them overshields. And why is that? Well, because an overshield, in my opinion, is one of the strongest buffs you can get in the game, because an overshield cannot be countered by any method outside of damage. So the idea that I had here, well, hold on, we're not gonna talk about it yet. They can't be countered by anything but damage, and this blows my mind, right? Because invisibility, you can, which is a void buff as well, you can have disabled by a suppressor grenade, right? Why is it that Void Overshield and really any buff you get to your classes, restoration, amplification, what's another one, radiance, devour, any of these, why are they not countered by suppressor grenades? Like, suppressor grenades are meant to as a means of, hey, disabling abilities, right? You disable class ability usage, you disable melees, grenades, supers, you disable the ability to double jump, but they won't take away any other buff besides invisibility. And I think that right there is like one of the first things that needs to change. A suppressor grenade, and this isn't so much specifically about Void Overshields. This is specifically about, I guess, buffing suppressor grenades, because suppressor grenades, while they are useful in the Crucible, they're not the best grenade by a long shot. Like, I mean, you can use them to counter a super, which, yes, that is very, very strong, but let's be honest, how many people do you see using mobile supers that can easily be suppressed out of them, right? When I run into Titans in the Crucible, 90% of the time they're using Thunder Crash or they're using a bubble, right? They're not using Fist of Havoc, Hammer of Soul, Sentinel Shield that can be disabled by a suppressor grenade. I mean, technically Thunder Crash can be disabled by a suppressor grenade, but God, if you have a clip of that, you need to post it in the comments, because I want to see that. I've never had that happen to me. At any rate, most people use one and done supers, warlocks, like Nova Bombs, Well of Radiance, Hunters, I think Hunters probably have the most mobile classes. I see Silk Strike a lot. Spectral Blades, also a very, very popular choice I see in a lot of my games. Golden Gun, same thing. Golden Gun, very, very popular. I don't see a whole lot of Blade Barrages and other one and done supers in my games personally. But again, take something like Silk Strike, for example. The timing that you have to get to hit a Silk Strike hunter is absolutely insane. Like, because number one, like, they have to be walking, you have to preemptively throw it, you know, they have to not have the ability to use their grapple to move out of the way of that, because that's the big thing. Like, I've used suppressor grenades in the super, in the Crucible, and, you know, Dawnblade Warlocks will fly over your head. They literally fly over it. Silk Strike Hunters fly over it, you know. All these roaming supers can easily avoid suppressor grenades, right? So suppressor grenades, just, I think in general, need a buff, and I think that giving them the ability to disable buffs that enemies have and you know, take care of that would be number one, a fantastic start, right? Disable Radiance, Restoration, what else? I can't think of amplification, woven mail. That's a big one. That's really, really popular. Like, disable all of these buffs that players get when you hit them with suppression, and it could be a suppressor grenade, or it could be suppression from a weapon. You know, collective obligation with suppressor rounds, or what's that one? The trace rifle that makes the ball that you can pick up and smash on people. That suppresses as well. Like, that would be a fantastic buff to the suppressor grenade that I would love to see. And it would make suppression a little bit more of a useful utility in the Crucible, not such a niche, you know, hey, I'm going to try to get this person out of their super and probably end up failing, right? But that, you know, that's kind of the first idea I have. And like I said, it would be to buff suppressor grenades. Also, tiny little mini side note here, suppressor grenades should have almost like a grenades and horseshoes detonation or a proximity detonation. Instead of bouncing once and then detonating, if you throw it at somebody who's in super, it should detonate as if you get it close to them and suppress them. Anyways, we're not talking about suppressor grenades, right? The second thing with Void Overshields, right? And, you know, I want to kind of focus on Void Overshields in this video, but the second thing that I don't know why Bungie hasn't done, anti-barrier rounds should break Overshields instantly, right? I mean, anti-barrier rounds, they already help you with barrier champions. They help you destroy barricades faster. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but elemental shields, they help break elemental shields faster. Like, all these things are broken by anti-barrier rounds. Why are Void Overshields not the same way? And I guess technically you could throw out their state or Overshields in general, but why are they not able to break Overshields in the Crucible? I think that would be a very, very good change that Bungie could make. And here's my thoughts behind this, like how it would work, right? So let's say it's anti-barrier hand cannon, you know, this season. So you got your hand cannon, you get your 180, your 140, you know, your Austringer, for example, right? It's anti-barrier hand cannon. You run into a Titan that has a full Void Overshield. The way, my opinion, that the anti-barrier round should help handle that is when you shoot and you hit a crit or a body with that anti-barrier round, it should deal enough damage to do, you know, the standard damage, which is I think 68 for a crit, and break the overshield, which I think is 50 HP. So say, you know, that Titan you run into, they have a full overshield. When you shoot them once in the head, it should deal 118 damage, right? I think that's or 100, oh, sorry guys, I'm horrible at math. Yeah, 118 damage. Should deal 118 damage, right? 118 damage because 50 damage will go towards breaking the overshield, and then the other 68 damage would go to the normal headshot. So there's still a 3-tap, right? They are still able to be 3-tapped. But, you know, that's only for hand cannons that season, right? You know, my Rat King, for example, if it's not anti-barrier sidearm, my Rat King still takes 5 crits, you know, instead of the normal 4 crits it takes to kill it, or longer, because it's Rat King, and it's anyway, blah, blah, blah. We're not gonna talk about Rat King. I could rage about it all day. That would be I feel like that would be like one of the most perfect things that Bungie could do to handle overshields in general, Void Overshields, any overshields in general, right? And I don't think that it would break the game, so to speak, because I think Bungie has the ability to tune it so that the extra damage that you get from your anti-barrier rounds to somebody with an overshield is just enough to break the remainder of their overshield. So, you know, we use the example of, you know, a Titan with a full overshield. Let's say a Titan with half overshield, right? So 25 HP, right? When you hit him with that anti-barrier hand cannon, you know, and that crit, it is 68 plus, what is it? 25, which is whatever that is, 68, 88, 93. It'll deal 93 damage. 93 damage, 25 to finish breaking the overshield, right? And then 68, which is the normal hand cannon damage to deal, you know, so that you can clean him up for a 3-tap. Why doesn't Bungie do that? Like, that just makes sense to me. And again, this wouldn't nerf overshields in any way, because I think overshields really are in a decent spot. Like, the extra 50 HP you get, it feels completely appropriate. Like, it's not giving you like 100 HP or some insane number like that. You know, you're not getting damage resistance by like 50% in PvP, which would, again, that'd be insane. No, you're just getting a little bit of extra health to help you in a gunfight. But other players should be able to counter it through the use of certain mods and stuff like that. You know, we briefly touched on countering things in the Crucible yesterday. Everything in the Crucible should have a counter, right? You know, let's see here, like Liminarch. The counter to Liminarch, playing smart. Don't peek long ranges. You know, don't run across lanes that are really, really wide and open. You know, if you know somebody's using Liminarch, play your cover smart, right? That's a counter to it. The counter to overshields right now is nothing, right? It's nothing. And I think that it could be something fantastic. You know, volatile rounds, which does anti-barrier, unraveling rounds, which does anti-barrier, radiance, which you know, does anti-barrier. Like, all these things should help you, the player, break overshields faster, and all at the same time, while not, you know, allowing for some crazy TTKs against people with overshields, right? Like, because to me, it doesn't make sense to, you know, have, you know, somebody has 1 HP from their overshield, like the tiniest little bit of overshield left, right? And then you hit him and it deals 118 damage, and then you can 2-tap. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, right? It's just enough to break the overshield and deal the standard damage that your weapon would do. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Plus, you know, well, no, that's it. That's what I got. I think that would be a very, very good change. It would help us to combat overshields without breaking overshields, making them feel weak or anything like that. Because right now, like, if you got a team of even 2 barrier titans rolling together, that's infinite overshield uptime, right? Like, that is, yeah. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts though. Like, you know, what do you think of my ideas here? You know, suppression, disabling overshield, and then anti-barrier rounds working against overshields in the Crucible. Do you like the idea? Do you hate the idea? Would you tweak the idea at all? Of course, also, if you have ideas of your own, I love to hear about y'all's ideas in the comments. I know that I don't respond to every comment, but I do read almost every single comment. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on how we could handle overshields in the Crucible without nerfing or tuning overshields in the slightest. Like, overshields, don't touch them. How can we buff other players to help them with, you know, with overs? Look at this joke. He missed the opportunity to get a double because he wanted me. Anyways, yeah, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. It helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content. And do me a favor. Watch the video you see on the end screen, because for guys, bye for now.